Alright blokes, welcome to Finding Nemo. So, we kick off with two clownfish, Marlin and his missus Coral, living it up in their new anemone home. Views are top notch, a whole batch of eggs ready to hatch, and everything's looking peachy. Coral's keen, Marlin's stressing. Classic dad behaviour. Out of nowhere, a massive barracuda rocks up, and before Marlin can do a damn thing, he gets knocked the hell out. Wakes up, missus, gone. Kids, deleted. Just one tiny egg left, barely hanging in there. So he scoops it up, names the little bloke Nemo, and from that moment on, he's wrapped the kid in so much bubble wrap he might as well be shipped express. Fast forward and Nemo's all grown up. Well, as much as a little fish can. He's got a dodgy fin, but he's got attitude. Wants to get out, explore, actually live a little. Marlin? Yeah, nah, he's a paranoid mess. Don't swim too far, don't touch that, you'll bloody die, Nemo. And today's a big day of school. Nemo's pumped, Marlin's stressing like a bloke who's just lost his keys. He's hovering, embarrassing the poor kid in front of his new mates while their teacher, Mr. Ray, the overly enthusiastic science nerd, takes him on a field trip. And then shit hits the fan. The kids swim out to the drop-off, aka the you're gonna get fucking eaten zone. Marlin catches him, absolutely loses his shit, yelling like a seagull fighting for a chip. Nemo, sick of his dad's shit, decides to be a cheeky little bugger and swims right up to a human boat, gives it a tap just to prove a point. Marlin's screaming bloody murder. But before Nemo can get back, a diver snatches him up, bags him like a prized catch, and pisses off. Marlin panics and bolts after him, but let's be real, he's a tiny fish and the boat is already out of sight. Nemo's been fish-napped, and now Marlin's got no choice but to do the impossible. Cross the whole bloody ocean to get his stupid kid back. So now he's just lost, panicking and shouting Nemo's name into the abyss like that's gonna help. And that's when he crashes, literally, into Dory. Now, Dory's a big blue tang, all friendly, all smiles, but there's one tiny issue. Her memory's absolutely fucked. Like, she forgets shit mid-sentence, and it seems like she's just a big troll messing with Marlin every chance she gets. He's trying to ask for help, and she's like, oh yeah, I saw where that boat went, follow me. And then 2 seconds later, blank stare. Wait, who are you? Marlin's just standing there like, are you f***ing serious? But Dory's persistent, and at this point Marlin's got nothing, so he sticks with her. And lucky he does, because within minutes they're face to face with Bruce, a massive great white shark. And just when Marlin's about to shit himself, Bruce wins and goes, "G'day, mate." Turns out Bruce and his two shark mates are on some kind of self-improvement kick. Fish are friends, not food. They're in shark rehab, trying to go vegetarian. Marlin and Dory get dragged into their little AA meeting inside a sunken submarine, and it's all going well, sharks sitting around, talking about their feelings, real wholesome stuff. Then, it's Marlin's turn to speak, and 'cause he's a clownfish, everyone's expecting him to pull a joke out of his ass, but nah, mate's pissed off, stressed, and not in the f***ing mood. So he just goes, English or Spanish? Whoever moves first is gay. Now, remember how Bruce is all fish are friends? Yeah, well the second he got absolutely owned by Marlin and smelt Dory's blood, that shit goes straight out the window. His eyes go black, he starts drooling, and suddenly he's not in the mood for a therapy session, he's in the mood for a snack. Marlin and Dory are screwed. They're zipping through the wreckage, dodging this 500-kilo killing machine as he goes full psycho mode, shit's blowing up, torpedoes are flying, and somehow they just make it out alive. Meanwhile, Nemo just landed himself in a bloody fish tank. Turns out he's in a dentist's office in Sydney and he's not alone, there's a whole other gang of fish in there. And they've all been stuck in this glass prison for ages. Leading the pack is a tough old bloke named Gil, who's got one busted fin like Nemo and zero patience for bullshit. Nemo's freaking out after getting stuck, but Gil's like, relax mate, you gotta get yourself out of that place. And now we've got two storylines going. Marlin and Dory teetering across the ocean trying to find him, and Nemo learning the ropes from a bunch of tank fish who are dead set on pulling off the Great Escape. And trust me mate, shit's only gonna get wilder from here. So Marlin and Dory have barely survived getting absolutely up by Bruce the shark, and now they're passed out, using that diver's mask, the only clue to Nemo's whereabouts, as a bloody pillow. Smart, right? But of course, the universe isn't about to make this easy. The mask slips and before Marlin can even say, oh for f***'s sake, it's gone. Sinking straight down into the deepest, blackest part of the ocean. Marlin's done. Bloke just sits there, defeated, probably questioning every life choice he's ever made. But Dory, nah, she's not having it. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Annoying as hell, but hey, at least it works. They head down after the mask, deeper and deeper until it's pitch black, can't see shit. But then a tiny glowing light appears, just floating there like a little beacon of hope. Now, a normal fish would think, bit dodgy, but these blokes, absolutely mesmerized, start chasing it like a little kid. And just when they're thinking, hey, maybe looking at this life for the rest of eternity ain't so bad, that's when they realize that it ain't some magical gift from the ocean gods. It's a trap attached to some massive deep-sea nightmare with razor-sharp teeth, and this is starving. Full-blown panic arises. Marlin's dodging chomps, Dory's screaming her head off, and somehow in all the chaos, she actually manages to focus long enough to read the writing on the mask. P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Bingo! They've got the address. A real lead. That's where Nemo's been taken. Only problem, they have zero idea where the Sydney is. Back on Nemo's part of the story, where he's been told by Gild that the doc's planning to gift him to his absolute menace of a niece, Darla the fish killer. Last poor bastard she had, she shook him to death like a fucking maraca. Taking advantage of Nemo's willingness to escape, Gild tells the lad that he's the only one small enough to squeeze inside the filter tube. If he can jam it up with a pebble, the tank would go to absolute shit. Cloudy water, algae everywhere, real nasty. The dentists will have no choice but to pull the fish out and chuck him in plastic bags while he cleans. And that's when they make their break. They'll roll their way out of the office, down the counter, across the floor, and yeet themselves out the window and straight into the harbour. Simple, right? Yeah, nah. But at this point, it's this or Darla's body slam into hell. So the plan's on. Meanwhile, Marlin's getting pissed off from Dory's annoying P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, not realising that gal just doesn't want to forget the place so she can be of help. But nah, Marlin ain't taking any of her shit and says, "We ain't sailing together anymore, mate." But why? I thought it was your pookie. Well, not anymore. So, no kisses in the homies goodnight? Shut your bloody mouth, woman, you're not a homie. Dude straight up tells her she's annoying as hell. And Dory finally breaks down, sobbing like a kid who's just dropped their ice cream. Dory's crushed, but before they can unpack all that drama, a school of moonfish rocks up. And instead of just giving them directions like normal people, these blokes make them play charades again, causing Dory to forget all the shit Marlin threw at her, and even getting directions. Take the East Australian current to Sydney. Easy enough, right? But before they swim off, the moonfish give Dory one last tip. Whatever you do, go through the trench, not over it. Dory's all, "Got it, legend, thanks." But of course, she forgets in 2 seconds flat. Marlin, being the paranoid control freak he is, takes one look at that trench and goes, "Yeah, nah, not a fucking chance." He convinces Dory to swim over it instead. And guess what? Massive mistake. Because right above them was a whole bloody minefield of jellyfish just floating there, waiting to zap the absolute shit out of them. Marlin's copping hits left and right, but Dory, she's too nice to even realise she's being electrocuted. So Marlin comes up with a genius, stupid idea. Let's race through them. First one out wins. Now, this kinda works. Until Dory takes too many hits and blacks the fuck out. Marlin barely drags her out of there, fried to hell. But somehow, they're still alive and wake up riding the current on a turtle's shell. Back in dentist jail, it's time to execute the mission impossible. Gil gives Nemo the nod. "Alright, lad, break a fin." Nemo, nerves absolute shot, squeezes his tiny ass into the filter tube. The plan's simple. Jam a pebble into the fan, stop the water flow, let the tank turn into a biohazard, and wait for the dentist to move him into plastic bag transport mode. Nemo executes it perfectly. The fan stops and the mission's accomplished. But just as he's trying to wiggle his way back out, the pebble pops loose, the fan kicks back on, and now the little bloke's about to get blended like a fucking smoothie! The whole gang freaks out, Gil's yelling, bloats puffing, everyone's losing their shit. They grab a plant, stick that thing into a lifeline, and yank Nemo out in seconds before he's turned into fish paste. Nemo's shaken, while Gil's even worse. The whole thing hits him hard. He was so desperate to get out, he nearly got the little dude killed. And just like that, escape plan's dead in the water. Marlin wakes up from the jellyfish smackdown and finds himself cruising on the East Australian current, getting carried straight to Sydney, like he's on a fishy highway. And his ride's a turtle named Crush, the most Aussie surfer dad you'll ever meet. This dude is chill as f***. Marlin's panicking, as usual, but Crush, he's out here dropping life lessons like, "You gotta let the little dudes live, man." Basically, he's telling Marlin to stop being a helicopter parent and let Nemo figure his shit out on his own. Meanwhile, Dory's just vibing with his lad Squirt. Nice naming, by the way. Who's basically a baby turtle version of a stoked surfer bro. After some top-tier life coaching and a speedy ride through the current, Both of them get spit out by the current and end up lost somewhere in Australian waters where they get swallowed by a whale after Dory tried talking to it in its native language. Marlin absolutely loses his shit, but Dory tells him to just trust her, and finally, for the first fucking time, he actually listens to the gal, gets shot up in the air by its blowhole, and ends up near the same boat that fish-napped Nemo. Meanwhile, across the ocean, their absolute madman journey has turned into the hottest news under the sea. Every fish, crab and sea slug is talking about the clownfish dad who's taken on the whole bloody ocean to find his son. This bloke's gone up against sharks, jellyfish, and God knows what else, and he's still going. This legendary tale eventually reaches a pelican named Nigel, who swings by the dentist's office for his usual sticky beak session. And when he hears the tank gang gassing about Darla the fish slayer, he drops a bombshell on Nemo, inspiring him to try one more time, finally succeeding in making the tank turn into a swamp real fucking quick. Green algae spreads like wildfire, and before you know it, the whole thing looks like Shrek's bathwater, making it one step closer to their plan. Now, Marlin and Dory finally hit Sydney, but finding one tiny fish in an entire harbour? Yeah, good luck with that. And that's where the seagulls come in. These little are everywhere, squawking, mine, 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 like a bunch of flying junkies. But thankfully, they meet Nigel, a pelican who actually knows what's up. Nigel's like, hop in, boys, I know where Nemo is. And just like that, Marlin and Dory are on their way to the dentist's office while getting chased by the artistic seagulls. The tank gang wakes up, ready to escape, but nope. The dentist installed a fancy-ass high-tech filter overnight, cleaning the tank instantly. Plans completely The doc bags up Nemo for Darla the fish slayer. Nemo desperately tries to roll towards the window, almost makes it, but gets caught and stuck in a tray. Darla the fish slayer storms in, ready to traumatize everyone with her fish-murdering energy, only to find out that the little fish she's getting to smash is dead, or at least pretending to be dead. The plan backfires a little as Nigel drops in the room, and Marlin also sees him playing dead and loses all his shit. Chaos arises and Gil, being the absolute Chad he is, pulls one last stunt to yeet Nemo out the window, and the little bloke makes it straight into the Sydney harbour, right where he belongs. Only drama is Marlin's already pissed off, reckoning Nemo's probably carked it. Nigel yeets the little bloke back in the drink, and Marlin tells Dory to rack off before legging it home. Heart shattered. Dory's brain does a full bloody reboot, stumbles across Nemo, spots Sydney ridden somewhere, and suddenly all the dodgy shit they went through comes flooding back. After shaking down some poor old crab for intel, getting nabbed again with a mob of fish, and whipping out the old swim down or you're gay card, they finally get the fam back together and live happy f***ingly ever after. Bloody ripper, mate. I give it 7 seals out of 9 pandas. Now, you keen on a movie about some thirsty alien chasing some spicy Latinas on Earth? Come on, I know what your search history's all about. Click here if that's your kind of shit.